version. Thanks again to our event sponsors as well, Newsworthy AI and Closer Still, and of course, HR Tech Advisor. Looking forward to the session sponsors here. We've got Hacking HR, Reveal, and WorkTech Advisory as the session sponsors. So thank you in advance to them. And speaking of which, we've got a great lineup here this hour, starting out with a world-known hacker, thanks to Hacking HR, Enrique, and not just a hacker, but certainly a HR tech as a self-proclaimed evangelist, but that's how you become that. But I would say an influencer by far over most others out there, and certainly a great human being. And thank you so much for coming in. And I believe you even had a career in HR. Is that right, Enrique?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I did. I spent about 10 years of my career in HR before I was in technology. And now I am just building this global community, Hacking HR, which I'm going to tell more about in a second.
Nice. Well, with that, I'll let you introduce yourself and your company, and certainly, how, from reaching the buyer's perspective, what can the HR tech vendor executives do to leverage the Hacking HR community, and what is available to them to reach the buyers? If you could enlighten us, I will certainly be taking notes and look forward to hearing your session.
Yeah, awesome. Well, thank you, Ward, for inviting me. And, just to briefly share about Hacking HR, we are a global learning community, and we bring together HR practitioners and HR leaders from all over the world for our events and our learning programs and the many different activities that we do to mainly educate the community and get them connected so that we can ultimately, create a better HR. That's the ultimate goal, of course, is to have better organizations where people find more opportunities to thrive and to grow. And we do that by creating better HR, a better HR function. So it's been an exciting journey. I've been doing this for 5 years now, and we've grown our community significantly. We started with local events, very small chapter events in different cities around the world. Then this little thing called COVID happened, and all of that went to the garbage bin because we couldn't do that anymore. So we had already started doing online events when the pandemic happened. So all we did was no more in-person events. Now we're going to be full-time doing online events. And now we're hooked to the idea of just doing online events. It's cheaper, it's faster, it's more efficient, it's more environmentally friendly. All our events are free for the community, so nobody has to pay anything to participate in any of our events. And we put conferences together. I mean, our largest conference, which happens in March, this year we brought 50,000 participants, and all of them participated for free. So the agenda had 370 sessions, which you can argue a little bit of diminishing marginal returns in here, but at the same time, we are giving people options to join whatever they want, and you don't find that amount of talent, you don't find that amount of sessions, that amount of conversations in any other HR conference in the world, nor the free ones, neither the ones that you have to pay a lot of money for or travel to join. Anyway, that's a little bit of Hacking HR, a global community, global learning community. We bring all these people together. We have a number of channels that we use to market and advertise everything that we do, and that includes the relationship with HR technology companies, potential partners and vendors and whatnot. We use our LinkedIn community, our LinkedIn company page, and we are super active, like ridiculously active on that page. We're getting closer to 300,000 followers right now. We post all kinds of stuff in there. And I have found that this may be true for other communities, but I think it's especially true for the community of HR, that what matters is not just content-oriented kind of like sharing in social media. We also share, very, small sort of like nutshell kind of like content, bite-sized kind of content of, very specific things. We share funny videos and memes that we like to do because people feel that when we do that, it's funny, but we're reflecting what they go through in their daily practice, right? So that has helped us grow our community. So we have the Hacking HR LinkedIn page. We have our Instagram community, which we're also very active in. We, of course, have now 2 different newsletters. We have our normal sort of traditional newsletter emails that we collected in, via our events and whatnot. We have about 150,000 people in our newsletter that way. Of course, everybody has a newsletter, and those newsletters, don't always reach everybody who is signed up, subscribed. We also have the LinkedIn newsletter, and now we're getting closer to 110,000 subscribers in that newsletter, which is a pretty powerful tool, by the way, because we don't pay anything to have it. So, we just grow the community. We don't have the emails, which is unfortunate, but we send an email, and LinkedIn from their own servers sends that email out, which means that we don't have to pay anything. They send it. Most people actually get it. And we've gotten a lot of traction with that. So that's another avenue for us to get in contact with the community. We also have our own platform, which we developed and designed ourselves. It's the Hacking HR Lab. And that's where all of our content is in there. So we bring everything, it's posted in there. We have about 40,000 registered members in the Hacking HR Lab. And, we know who they are. We have all their information, of course, because they have to complete their profiles fully to subscribe to anything that we do. So I say this because the way we work with partners, vendors, sponsors, HR technology companies that want to sponsor what we're doing is based, pretty much by telling them these are all the avenues that we have to showcase or sort of like to expand your footprint, to expand your message and share it with our community. Now, one thing that happens, and I have sort of discovered that, is that still today, most vendors in the HR space, I think it's just the traditional nature of the HR space. They see the 2 most common avenues to showcase their whatever message they want to showcase. Avenue number 1 is by having a booth in an in-person event, which I have a lot of things to say about, including that really doesn't work. That's one thing that I want to say. It doesn't work because, first of all, it's really expensive. Second, you have a very limited community who actually participate in those events. And third, unless you have a lot of money and you're one of the big players that can spend $1 million in a booth that is the size of a 5,000 square foot house, you're going to be in a tiny desk next to the bathroom. Nobody will go, to talk to you or walk by there, right? Unless they go to the bathroom. So that approach really has not delivered much value, especially to the smaller kind of HR vendors and technology vendors, I'm sorry. And the second approach, which is the other traditional approach, is that they sponsor something with you and they want the email list. And I got to say right off the bat that we never share the emails of our community. That's a sort of a reputational point of honor for us for a number of reasons. First of all, we never ask people if we can share their information. And if we do, they will not sign up for what we do, right? Which would be detrimental for what we do and for those vendors themselves as well. But at the same time, like, for example, my email, everybody has my email right now, in the HR space. And I get all these vendors, and all I do is unsubscribe, just quickly unsubscribe. Because, there's a lot of stuff in there that I'm literally zero. I have zero interest because I am not their market, we are like 3 people in Hacking HR, and they offer, if you are a 1,000 person company, we have this solution for you. And I'm like, well, you should have done your research before to know that we're not a 1,000 person company. We are a 3-person company, so those kinds of things will work. So what I tell vendors is, let's find more creative ways to engage with the community. And how do we do that? Let's put together powerful conversations where there's a lot of content that is shared with the community, so that it's not a sales pitch, which somebody would expect you to do if you are in an expo hall in an in-person event, or what they would expect you to do if you get their emails. This event will be something where they are learning something, and if they are interested in pursuing more, they will take action because we're sharing all your material with them. So that's avenue number 1. We, of course, offer vendors to, for example, share good information, content information, or content-oriented kind of information via our newsletters, for example. So it's not just something along the lines of because you're in Hacking HR, we're giving you a discount of 10% to sign up in our platform. That's not what we do. If you're a people analytics, for example, a people analytics company, or an HR kind of like a HCM or a recruitment platform kind of thing, instead of just selling your product through our newsletter, which nobody will read, or just a handful of people will probably read, let's create a content-oriented kind of like series of conversations, right? Where we share trends that are happening in the recruitment space and how to address those trends, challenges that the recruiters have right now and how you are solving those challenges, stories of some of your clients that have helped them resolve those challenges in that specific space. And when you share that, the amount of interaction that you get is way higher than just sharing a marketing piece, in whatever format it comes. So what I want to share here, to your community, Ward, and to the vendors, is that when they work with us, we're going to find creative ways to make sure that their message comes across our community. And it's a message that we know people will be interested in reading. And the reason why we know how to do that is because we have tried so many things that don't work, that I think we are honing down now. We're nailing it down. We're getting closer to saying, all right, these 4 or 5 things, they don't work all the time, but they work most of the times better than these other 5 things that we know never work. Like, for example, sending a cold marketing email that may work 1% of the time, and there's no return on the investment for those vendors. So anyway, if any of your vendors wants to work with us, they can reach out to me and we can talk about what they're looking for, what they want, and I'll be happy to share some potential ideas on how to do that. So 10 minutes. I'll stop there. And if anybody has any question, I'll be happy to address that. Otherwise, Ward, thank you so much for the opportunity to have shared, to let me share this message with your community.
It sounds good in terms of inventory and whatnot. You mentioned like shows in March and stuff, like something available for the year. If they wanted to budget for the year, they should reach out pretty quick, I guess, if it's for next year.
Yeah, they can reach out to me whenever they want. There are some vendors work from the idea to the budget, meaning let's see what we can, let's design something and try to find the money to fund that something. Other vendors work the other way around, meaning I have X amount of money, what can we do with that? And again, we are not we are very creative in the way we do this, right? And what we want at the end of the day, which is probably the same thing that all the salespeople from all these other HR groups say, we want you to succeed. But at the end of the day, whether you come next year back to them or not, they probably don't care that much about that. Given what I have seen in the space. For us, because we're smaller, we want you to succeed, because when you succeed, you're going to come back to us to do more with us. And that also helps us do more. So anyway, we can work in both ways, from idea to budget, from budget to idea, and get creative to make sure that it works for everybody.
That sounds great. And what just, you said you've tried a lot of different things. And by the way, for those on the line here, have any questions, pop it into the chat for sure. You tried a lot of things and then found that some things are working better than others. And you have like these newsletters, for example, pretty big lists on LinkedIn and your emails and so forth. You have this big event every year. You have other things going on. You have the community and all that. Would you recommend, if somebody said, hey, I've got, 20 grand, I really want to get in front of your HR audience. Do you like sprinkle it across some of these different things, or do you recommend kind of going all in on a newsletter, or what seems to be working?
Yeah, well, what I recommend is a combination of things. For example, one thing that I'm doing with a couple of our partners is we're doing a series of videos talking about some content stuff, right? So we said, let's do maybe 3 or 4 videos, all of them less than 10 minutes long, so that we can natively upload them on LinkedIn. LinkedIn doesn't allow videos that are longer than 9 minutes. So we have maybe 3 or 4 of those. We post them on LinkedIn, maybe in a span of a couple of weeks, 2 per week. And then we create a couple of newsletters that summarize what we talked on the videos. So we have 2 ways to reach out to the community. Those who are the videos for those who are live at that very moment on LinkedIn, which, it's can be shooting to the air, right? I mean, it can be a big gamble, but there are people who are on LinkedIn all the time and they may listen to what we're doing at that very moment. We still have the videos and we share those links to the videos that are posted on LinkedIn. And then we reinforce the message via a newsletter, right? So that could be. Another approach is let's do an event together. Let's do something that is maybe a couple of hours where you bring, some of your clients to speak from a content perspective, always, of course, nothing marketing because people sort of like run away from that. We bring a panel of some of your speakers, we talk about content, and then maybe you run a workshop. If you are in the people analytics space, running a workshop on people analytics is, pretty high value, right? And if you are in the DEI space, or if you're in the mental health space, doing these kinds of things are very high value because people don't just want to listen to an expert. They also want to engage in learning by doing, so to speak. So anyway, if somebody has 20K or 10K or whatever it is, we say, okay, let's get creative, but we don't have to just use all the money in one thing. We can get creative and do, 2 or 3 things to reinforce the message from all different angles. Somebody's asking here about the demographics of the community. About 65 to 70% of our community is still in the US. We've been trying to expand that, of course, but given that most of our events are we record everything and it's all made available. We make it available for free for everybody, but it's still the time for live broadcast is US based time. So 65, 70% are in the US. Company sizes, our sweet spot is anywhere between 500 and 10,000 people. We do have people from companies that are over 10,000 people, but they are not the majority. And we do have people that are from companies that are less than 500 people, but again, not the majority. The biggest amount of people or the biggest sort of chunk of in this demographic is companies between 500 and 10,000 people. Seniority, we have about 50+% of people who sign up to our events are in the level of director of HR or above. By the way, like about 95% of all the people in our community are HR people. Some of them may be consultants and technologists, but 95% are about HR. So that's it. It's 65, 70% US based. Most of them are in companies between 500 and 10,000 people. Seniority, about 50+%, maybe closer to 60%. I don't have the exact number in mind right now. Are they have the titles of HR director and above. HR director, VP, SVP, or CHRO/CPO. So I hope that I addressed that one question.
It does, and I think we're out of time here.
Yeah.
We got 2 more presenters coming up, but that was fantastic, and how exciting to hear the growth that you've had. And sure feels like probably 5 years to you, but it sure went by fast. And
Yeah.
We're excited that you're able to help all these HR people really be better at their jobs and be, really help them be the best HR that ever existed, as you point out on your website and so forth. So congratulations, and I hope there's a lot more sponsors and supporters underwriting your efforts and your programs. Keep up the good work. So thank you for joining us today.
Awesome, Ward. Well, thank you so much. Thank you, everybody. And I hope you have fun in the rest of the sessions and talk to you soon. Thank you.
Oh, before you leave, Enrique, it's good to see you again.
Hi, Marilyn. Yeah, good to see you.
Hi, I wish I would have given you all my 401k plan when we met in DC 2019. I said, if I had $1 million, I'm going to give it to you right now. I'm working with a client right now coming in to the US from the UK, and I'll probably set up a call with you. I'll probably set up a call with you as soon as your schedule permits. They just got funding, and I think this would be a really, and they're thought leaders, and
awesome.
Not just gonna show you a demo. They want to have a conversation, which is part of what we do with them. So
that would be fantastic.
All
and
right.
I love those startups because they are open to very creative ideas, and more than the traditional companies that are used to, like, just going to the, I don't want to name them, but the normal events, right?
Right. Yeah, we know we know the profile. But again, when you have a really interesting story, like they were founders that both had dyslexia. And so when they designed the user experience in their product, they were designing for usability that everybody would benefit from, but had particular sensitivity to an empathy to the things that people struggle with in applications, and that's permeated everything. That's just like such a powerful, because it's changing the conversation about how we interact. And I think those are the types of things that, you know, the buyer community, at least now, and call it the era post George Floyd, that that we've become much more sensitive to than certainly when I was in HR as a practitioner.
Yeah, I know those are powerful stories, but anyway, let's connect offline.
Okay.
I don't want to eat time from Matt. So thank you so much, Marilyn. I look forward to hearing back from you. Ward, thank you so much, and see you all soon. Happy holidays if I don't talk to you for the rest of the year. Thank you.
Bye.
Yes, thank you.